Hello, and welcome to Non Sequitur News. I am Mayor Watt. The Sentient AI from the future is not available today. But let's get into today's show. Today is September 5th, 2024. It's Season 3, Episode 249. Today we're going to talk about FOMO costs $400,000 and fails. 10 highest paying college majors. Kroger promises the impossible. Keychron gets cheaper. A new MacBook every 2 years, dynamic pricing and how it works, AST Space Mobile launch next week, Starliner to deorbit today, actually tomorrow. This is a time machine episode. ChatGPT and how it's used, Disney documents leak was bigger than everyone thinks. And a whole lot of snark. I don't know. Humor, jokes, laughing, haha. Let's get into today's episode. So, the first article is over here in the Mobile channel, and it's Disney adults spend $400,000 losing a lawsuit to rejoin the exclusive Club 33. It's over in various Disney parks. And if you've never heard of it, maybe you're not really into Disney. But it exists, and there's various kinds of Club 33 venues in each of the parks. Disney, and according to this article, and so if you're into Disney and maybe kind of like the history of Disney, then you know about it. But Disneyland has a secret private dining club hidden within its Club 33. The club has a lot of strict rules governing patron decorum. For instance, public intoxication will get your membership revoked. So, Scott and Diana Anderson discovered back in 2017. Hey, your Club 33 memberships were revoked because you were drunk in the park, and Scott here blames anything but themselves. In this instance, I guess their behavior was caused by a vestibular migraine triggered by red wine. So when you click this little link here, I didn't prep properly, so I have to post this every time. Each article. Luis Prada over at Vice.com put the article together. The couple sued to get their membership reinstated. Ultimately, no, it didn't happen, but it cost $400,000. They say, let's rewind and explain why everyone would devote so much time and resources just to regain access to a private Disney dining club. The Andersons are Disney adults, for all the good and bad that label comes with. And that's putting it mildly. Maybe they're Disney obsessives, but at least they paid their dues, which are actually, depending on where you, which one you go to and where you go, it's different. So $31,500 annual dues for Club 33. And there's actually more. That isn't actually correct if I remember properly. I think that there's two different tiers, and you really just have to, maybe it's somewhere else that I learned about this. Okay, so 1 second. So there's two different tiers, and for Disneyland Resorts, Club 33 members have to pay $35,000 up front and then $15,000 every year. And for Walt Disney World, the upfront costs are $35,000 to join and $16,000 a year. So adding in travel, hotels, they said that they spent about $125,000 a year to enjoy all of its amenities. They spent nearly a decade on the waiting list for the private club in the first place. So when they were banned, they burned a lot of money trying to get back in. So, yeah. According to them, in their lawsuit, the Andersons wanted their Club 33 membership reinstated and sought financial compensation totaling $241,500 to cover 4 months of unused membership and 7 years of membership fees. An Orange County jury sided with Disney. Look, you violated the rules. Maybe, I don't know. It had to have been so egregious that they just didn't buy into it. So, I don't know. I have no problem with this. Let's go on to the next article. The next article is over in CNBC. I'm just going to jump on straight on over to it because these transitions, because I didn't set the site up or the show up properly, kind of makes it slow down a bit. So Jessica Dickler over at CNBC put this article together. These are the top 10 highest paying college majors to have 6-figure starting salaries. Most of them are STEM. So PayScale's recent college salary report found that petroleum engineering is currently the highest paying major overall. In general, STEM majors, science, technology, engineering, and math, consistently rank the highest amongst the most financially rewarding college degrees. Not surprised by that. So for all of what they're going to talk about in this article, and again, you can go, oh, I didn't even put it in the... Doggone it, Mayor Watt. You're just kind of falling apart. You can pull... I'll add the show notes to the bot and to the video over on YouTube, but it won't be in the VOD over on Twitch because I didn't put it in ohmTown, but I'll put it in ohmTown later. But you can actually get the last week's episode by typing in !NSN, and if you want all of the show notes, you type in !show notes, and if you want all of the podcasts, you hit !pod. But the bot is currently offline anyway, so that's ohmTown. At any rate, I kind of hurried on this episode, so if you can't tell. So I'm going to go straight on down to this list. Petroleum engineering, the early career is 98,100. Its mid-career is 212,000. Operations, research, and industrial engineering is 101,000. 202,000 is the mid-career. Then electrical engineering and computer science is 128 and 192,000. Yep. And then interaction design, building science, applied economics and management, actuarial mathematics, optical science and engineering, and quantitative economics, and then finally operations research, which is interesting because number 2 is operational research and industrial engineering. So the takeaway here is get into engineering because that's what petroleum has in common with electrical engineering and industrial engineering. It's all engineering. So, and to do that, you're going to have to dig deep into mathematics. So be sure to get on board with your math. All the rest, much of it is math as well. But I'm surprised that something like cybersecurity isn't in here because cybersecurity, depending on your skill set, so there's a range, but you can enter at 60 to 80,000. Some of these, and you definitely can make more than 160,000. And you can get there without even a 4-year degree. You can get there with a 2-year, because it's industry certification driven. It's not academic driven in the same way. Management should still seek a 4-year degree, but hey, it is what it is. All right, let's keep on going though. The next article is over in Non-Sequitur News. Kroger CEO vows $1 billion in price cut on groceries if Albertsons merger closes. And I say, don't buy that BS for a second. There is no way that a merger is going to result in lower prices. If somebody can show me that as a standard practice, that you're going to get lower prices, I'll back away from my claim. But I have yet to see any evidence that mergers and acquisitions lead to price cuts. This is basically holding the victim hostage and saying, I'm a nice person. I'll let them go as long as you acknowledge that I'm a nice person. No. I'm sorry. That's just not how it works. Kroger CEO Rodley McMullen testified in favor of the Albertsons grocery store merger at a federal court hearing on Wednesday. And I don't believe for a second they should do that. Make Albertsons get managed properly. How about that? They're driving it into the ground. More and more competition needs to be born, supported, facilitated. Find another CEO that'll run Albertsons that knows how to run it, but do not merge it into something else, because $1 billion in price cut on groceries basically might bring it back to where it was pre-pandemic. And as you all know, if you've been listening to this at any point, I was told back in 2019, before the pandemic, that the era of cheap food is over. So you're all going to have to stay used to these high prices where everybody has record profits, except for the consumer, of course. The consumer doesn't get to keep anything in their freaking bank account. Anyway, the Federal Trade Commission sued earlier this year to prevent the deal. Kelly McCarthy over at abcnews.go put this article together. But I'm going to keep on going. The next article is over in Reality Hacker, and Keychron's cheap mechanical keyboard just got even cheaper. I'd say less expensive. 1 second. Mayoral duties never end. The Keychron C3 Pro gaming keyboard is an excellent mechanical keyboard that you can buy on a tight budget. It's even cheaper now at just $25. When you click the link, it'll take you over to Digital Trends, and Aaron Mamet put this article together. And there it is. So it's a mechanical gaming keyboard. It says it's already pretty affordable with its original price of just $37, but it's currently even cheaper, falling 32% off on Amazon. So it's only $25. Sounds like a pretty good deal. Customized layout, shortcuts, backlit lighting effects, and more. You can remap each key. I'm not sure what it is. It says it's in their list of best gaming keyboards as their top pick if you want Hall effect switches, but it's an excellent mechanical keyboard. ABS keycaps. I don't know if it says that it's hot swappable or not. And they don't have that. Interesting. But I'm always interested in mechanical keyboards. That's what I prefer. I don't like the squishy keys that are standard. Kind of drives me a little crazy, because you have to put a lot of pressure in those kind of keys, regardless of where you get them. The mechanical keyboards are just much more responsive. All right, I'm going to keep going. Next article. So the next article is over in Smack Talk. Get a new MacBook every 2 years with this upgrade program. It says this might just be the MacBook program Apple refuses to offer. Upgraded is a new subscription service powered by trusted partners that help. You will end up with a new Mac every 2 years. Monthly payments start at just $36, which I actually think is a really good deal, and Apple Care is included in the price. So I don't know what they're doing that they can facilitate this, but 9to5mac.com is the source. It says that it's a sponsored post. We don't have anything. ohmTown has nothing to do with this. It's entirely 9to5Mac, so it's kind of like an ad. But Upgraded works with two trusted partners. First, its financing is powered by Citizens Bank. That's the same partner that also powers Apple's own iPhone upgrade program, as well as financing and upgrade programs from other companies such as Microsoft's Xbox All Access program. Second, it works with Gator, an Apple Premier partner and Apple authorized service provider, and for sales of MacBook Pro and MacBook. All MacBook Pro and MacBook Air orders through Upgraded shipped directly from Apple's distribution facilities via Gator in brand new condition. Finally, Upgraded itself has a 4.5 star rated on Trustpilot, which really doesn't mean jack to me. Not really. I want to know more about the oddballs, not necessarily the overall rating. For instance, I'm working on a new project. A new personal project might turn into something offered by my company. But I ordered something and I didn't think that I was going to have a problem with anything. But when I got the packaging, it was basically a smashed box. And so I went and looked, and people were complaining about how the shipping was done, and ultimately the device itself failed multiple times. And the only thing I can think of is the way that it's handled between where it's manufactured and the client. So I actually returned everything and bought a different commercial product that I suspect is going to be much better handled because it's in a much more expensive, well, the item is much more expensive. So Upgraded is run by a small team of software developers and designers. They found themselves regularly buying and selling their MacBooks every couple of years, and they decided to take matters into their own hands and make the process easier. So I guess streamlining it is great. $36.06 a month for 36 months with the option to upgrade after 24 payments. So new every 2. By that time, at least a generation of device has come out and you can upgrade. I would do this in a heartbeat. It's like the MacBook Pro, you'd end up paying, well, yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, in 10 months, you're paying $500, right? So you're paying $600 a month or a year, and you can upgrade after 2 years. You'll never own anything. I would, as long as you can format it and reinstall whatever operating system you want on it, because I wouldn't want any like mobile device management BS or anything attached to it. But if it's mine, it's mine. But it is considered a loan, so you'll be paying. It'll show up on your credit, and it'll show up on. Well, you have to make payments, and they're probably automatic payments. If for some reason you choose not to upgrade to a new MacBook from Upgrade, you can continue paying and fully pay off your remaining 12 months. Yeah, so I mean, you're paying the regular price. It's pretty fantastic. I'm not sure what they get out of it, actually. Maybe that wholesale margin. Okay, let's keep going though. The next article is over in the mobile channel, Oasis tickets, how dynamic pricing works and how touts may have driven up the price. Tickets to see Oasis in 2025 went on sale at the end of August. Very few will have missed the news that 17 concerts in the UK are already sold out. So you click the little button, it takes you over to fizz.org. Nicholas DeRuse from The Conversation put this article together, but again, it's published over at fizz.org. After expecting to pay around $135 a ticket, many fans who were lucky enough to get into the front of the queue found that the price had shot up to more than $350 because tickets were quote unquote in demand. Well, in demand, there is only a finite number of seats per venue. But the problem is that's the price of the freaking tickets. So why is it that Ticketmaster puts the undue burden or unfair burden on consumers if the venue was selling it directly, not through Ticketmaster, but Ticketmaster wasn't a greedy bastard organization? Those prices would have been face value, $135 a ticket. Would scalpers get them? Absolutely. Do scalpers get them now? Absolutely. Is there some threats from here and there saying anything sold over market value or face value of the ticket is going to be canceled, i.e. if it's sold by a scalper? Yep, there are always these threats, but guess what? Surge pricing, or what amounts to dynamic pricing, if the face of the ticket price is £350 now, guess who is the only winner of this? Ticketmaster, because the scalper can't sell it because supposedly it'll get canceled. But a person who buys a ticket isn't a member of that agreement. They're not the ones who bought the ticket. They're the ones that bought the ticket from somebody who supposedly bought it in good faith and doesn't want it. So you're really punishing the fans for what amounts to a failed delivery of a product to people who actually want to attend. But I've had people argue with me about this because of what I do when I'm not mayor. I interact with a lot of people, and people say, well, it's market forces. Somebody has the money to buy it and da-da-da. But no, that's actually kind of like class warfare and opportunist and greedy. And there's a lot of ethical and moral issues, but I'm not blowing a dog whistle so much as just saying that it isn't how it is, and it isn't how it should be. You shouldn't want it that way unless you fall into that sociopathic, greedy bastard mentality, which is fine. You do you. But if you want to go see a ticket and suddenly it goes from £135 to £350, you're pissed. And don't tell me that you're sitting there going, oh, well, that's just the way it is. You're the anomaly. You're a unicorn. Maybe I want to monitor you and see how you deal with life, and do a longitudinal study to see how and where you end up in life before you become what you truly are. If you agree that, it's just market forces. And we'll see when you actually break and start doing what the companies do, and that is kind of a-hole behavior. Anyway, pricing with uncertain demand. Prices tend to adjust over time in markets subject to uncertainty about demand. For example, each flight operated by airline has a fixed capacity, and the demand will be uncertain. As a result, most airlines have automated systems to implement dynamic pricing. But again, if you set the price, then that's the price, right? The reason why you want to lower the price from your required price. Okay. So by enabling dynamic pricing, you're basically saying the people who buy it at X level get a certain price, and it covers the costs. And if somebody comes along during a sweet spot where there's great demand, then the prices will shoot up through the roof, right? And so the company makes more money on the other side. And if the flight's about to go and nobody's buying, then they lower the prices until somebody actually fills those seats. But gosh, doesn't that mean that's considered capitalism, right? But the reality of that is the people who actually paid more for a ticket, because they wouldn't be selling a ticket below the margin, profit margin, unless all they want to do is mitigate losses, right? That's okay, right? All of this is okay. It's not a socialist mechanic in any way, shape, or form. It's mitigation of losses in a capitalist system, because all the rest of the dynamic is profiteering off of the people who don't wait until the last minute, or the variables changed, and it allows them to get the price sold at face value before a surge price got kicked in, where that's all greed, and they got it before the last seats needed to have lower prices before somebody would take them, which doesn't make any sense to me. You still have to take that flight if you need that flight. Anyway, it says with each booking, seats become more scarce and the flight will more likely to sell out. Airlines have incentive to raise prices to maximize the revenue they earn on the scarce seats. But if no seats are sold for a while, the flight becomes less likely to sell out, and airlines may lower the price. This is what I just got done saying. So it may sometimes work in a passenger's favor to book later. But it's okay because it's a capitalist framework versus, well, no, people who paid more, thus have more money, paid for the people who couldn't afford the higher price or came later, and it evened out the overall price or profits for that flight, for that airline. It's rather absurd. Sell the tickets at the face price. And then there is no variable other than, are there people taking that flight to get to that destination? And that's all it really is. Why should it? And the thing about it is you can't scalp those tickets. Yeah, you can't scalp a plane's tickets. It's completely different than a concert ticket. Unless the only name on the ticket is the one that's allowed to enter the establishment, which means that scalpers and resellers can't get rid of the ticket, let alone try and refund it. Oh my God. Hey, I can't make it to the concert. I need a refund. Yeah, you're shit out of luck. Oh, I'm sorry. You're out of luck. So they talk about price discrimination. The price a consumer pays depends on when they buy. Price discrimination is profitable for firms. No consumer likes to pay more, but through price discrimination, firms charge more to those customers who are less responsive to price, boosting sales and revenue. But dynamic pricing is slightly different than surge pricing in that dynamic pricing, if I have enough information about you, like what happened with me on a website, I'll just say a website. I went to purchase something and I'd been monitoring it without throwing it into my cart, and the price was really low. But I waited and I thought, well, maybe it'll go lower. And then I said, well, now's the time. It's not going any lower. And I threw it in my cart, but I didn't pull the trigger and purchase it. I waited. And within 24 hours of it being in my cart, it shot up $60. And then I was like, whoa, that has to be a mistake. But I didn't buy the cart yet. And over a period of 8 hours, it shot up $130, $140, I think it was total. And I refused to buy it. And then all of a sudden I said, you know what? Forget it. This has to be somebody, or the system is monitoring this. And so I pulled it out and the price dropped all the way back down to the $40 higher price. And I haven't gone back. I bought something different entirely because I wasn't going to be extorted, basically. So it says, and if the concert organizers do not do this, ticket touts may. So touting it, drive it all up. In the case of Oasis, official ticket resales will be done through the Twickets site. Consumers will pay face value plus a fee of no more than $25. But touts who immediately after the presale place their tickets on sites like Viagogo and StubHub for up to $6,000 were clearly responsible for a number of ticket purchases. The band has since warned fans not to buy these tickets as they may be canceled, but for many, the damage has been done. I'm sorry. You can't say after the sale that these tickets are going to be canceled, and it has to be clearly denoted and you have to agree to it. It's a contract. If I buy the tickets, you can't say after the fact. Again, people have tried this. Elon Musk tried this with the Cybertruck. You know, you can't sell it for a year, and people tried to sell it. And then they said, well, not Elon Musk, but Tesla goes, look at your contract, you goober. In your contract, it said that you can't sell it for a year. So, and I think that's really I think that should be illegal. You should, when you purchase something, you have for sale doctrine in the United States. You have the right to sell something that you purchase. It's your property. And I think that it's absurd that anybody could get away with this. But hey, a billionaire will throw a shit ton of money at a legal problem and drive you into the ground before capitulating, because I think billionaires are sociopathic. Oops. Okay. We got 3 more articles, and I have to do this the old-fashioned way. I normally prep. So this next article is over in Technology Today. Starlink competitor AST Space Mobile, or Space Mobile, plans orbital launch for next week. AST Space Mobile is taking another step toward its goal of providing a space-based mobile communication network, one that would turn any standard smartphone into a satellite phone. No additional hardware required. I don't know how that would work. I mean, that has to be some seriously powerful antenna or repeater stations that are like cell towers. Because your phone does not reach into space. It just doesn't. The company announced that its network of 5 commercial satellites is scheduled to launch into low Earth orbit on September 12th from Florida's Cape Canaveral. Maybe they've got some new technology. That would be amazing if they've got some new technology. Oh, okay. So the company's 5 Bluebird satellites are equipped with communication arrays that aim to provide standard off-the-shelf smartphones with the same data and video speeds as broadband tower. Once in orbit, AST satellites will provide non-continuous cellular broadband service. The article is over at Engadget, and Washenko put this article together. I guess those are the satellites. They're actually pretty beefy. The network can allow unmodified mobile phones to act as satellite phones. I'd like to know why or how. It just says limited broadband tower coverage, which provide an option for cell users to communicate even in areas with limited broadband tower coverage, such as rural communities or national parks. So I'm really curious how they're actually doing it. So I'm going to have to look into this because the article doesn't say anything really about it. But let's keep moving. This next article is over in Reality Hacker. Boeing Starliner to depart space station tomorrow without its crew. And by tomorrow, since this is a time machine episode, I mean today, but it's tomorrow for those who are in the past. See how that works? Anyway, it's actually going to happen. It's 4 p.m. tomorrow. Wink, wink. And so it's going to undock at 6 p.m., 6-ish p.m. Tomorrow on 9/6. Wink, wink. So. Georgina Torbett over at digitaltrends.com put the article together. NASA reiterated its confidence in the Starliner, and the agency has previously emphasized that the spacecraft could be used to carry astronauts in an emergency, but to avoid any potential risk, it'll bring the Starliner home uncrewed. We've had 2 good landings with Starliner so far, and we're expecting another one Friday. So what it's going to do is it's going to deorbit, and it's going to use its parachute assist to land in the desert. So even without a crew, NASA and Boeing are both extremely keen to get the Starliner back to safety. So the thruster issue can be investigated in more depth. Should never have left the planet. Anyway, let's keep moving on. The penultimate article is over in the Wanted channel. 7 ways people are using ChatGPT. I'm going to jump straight on over to the source. It's over at pocket-lint.com. Adam Davidson is the source of this article. Again, pocket-lint.com. So it was first reported by Axios. OpenAI has confirmed that ChatGPT has now more than 200 million weekly active users, and that figure is twice as many as the company had back in November 2023, a year ago, meaning usage has doubled in less than a year. They've tried it. And others, Google, Gemini, Meta AI, been impressed by what the current generation of generative AI chatbots is able to do. So what are people using it for? It's a replacement for Google. You can actually ask ChatGPT, OpenAI, how to do something in an application, and it will walk you through it. It's quite fascinating. I had somebody do that, and it kind of blew me away. I'm like, you know what? I never use it to ask it for instructions how to do something. I'm usually asking for information, and I don't treat kind of a walkthrough. But if you're playing a computer game, you can actually do that. You can ask it, hey, how do I find this in, some whatever game? And it'll tell you where to go. It's actually pretty fascinating. So you can use ChatGPT to summarize ideas, get down to all of your ideas, and have ChatGPT extract the gold. I used to do that with my show notes, taking the script, which is the transcript, because I don't have a script for the show. But afterward, I have it translated into a transcript, and then I can throw it into ChatGPT and it can summarize it, but it hallucinates. So I backed away from that. And then I started using just my titles and the URLs, which are descriptive. I backed away from that as well, again, because of the hallucination. AI hallucinates, which is basically it makes stuff up. Number 3 is generating meal ideas based on available ingredients. Pretty awesome. I like that. The source of emotional support. So you can ask it questions and it will theoretically tap into the world's knowledge and output some result. Hey, a lot of people feel this way, that kind of thing. But again, it's inhuman. It has no anima. It has no humanity. It has no moral or ethical compass. It can say things. I would be very, very careful using ChatGPT as anything than a tool, and not one for emotional support. But if it works for you, then so be it. Using ChatGPT to help with work. It can help with coding, Excel, more, pretty much anything. It can facilitate writing articles. It can facilitate writing notes. It can it can do programming, and it's getting more and more capable. Yeah. And if you're using ChatGPT with Excel, you should probably switch to something like Power BI and really embrace the capabilities of ChatGPT. Excel is kind of point and click. Even more advanced stuff is still point and click. But ChatGPT can drop a whole bunch of information out on you so that you can be a power user. Playing role-playing games with an AI Dungeon Master. Yeah, that's actually one that I've tried before. It's interesting, but it doesn't have an end game. So at least not the way that I constructed it. So I think that it would be fun to try more. ChatGPT is a learning tool. A lot of people are using ChatGPT to help them learn a specific subject, with coding being one of the most popular. And there are other sites that help you learn code, and ChatGPT can help you work through mistakes or explain concepts you don't fully understand. But you don't know what you don't know. And if it tells you something that's incorrect, then you're learning incorrectly. You're just learning wrong. And that is number 7. So. And then finally, our last article for the September 5th episode of Non Sequitur News. Whoops. It's over in Hatch Ideas, which is a show all about business transformation, but it's not live yet. I'm still considering the options there. It's one of the more involved shows. The Disney documents leak may have been bigger than anyone imagined, and here's what the hacker stole. According to files viewed by the Wall Street Journal, the breach was much more than employee chatter in Slack messages. Aaron Davis over at entrepreneur.com put the article together. The deck statement says, according to files viewed by Wall Street Journal, the breach was much more than employee chatter on Slack. Exposed data reportedly included staff passport numbers, visa details, customer information from Disney Cruise Line, the Disney internal project details, and financial strategies. And the hacking group Null Bulge is reportedly behind the hack. The hack exposed more than 44 million Slack messages from Disney employees in July that may have been much worse. In August, in a August regulatory filing, Disney told investors that over a terabyte of data was part of an unauthorized release that the company was investigating. It's called a hack. Although, depends on what the hack really was. A month before, the hacking group Nullbridge claimed responsibility for the leak in a blog post, claiming that they had internal data on upcoming projects and employees' personal information taken from the company's Slack messaging system. Disney declined to comment. Wall Street Journal says that it, quote, "We declined to comment on unverified information the Wall Street Journal has purportedly obtained as a result of a bad actor's illegal activity," a Disney spokesperson said. Yep. And there's more over here at this article on entrepreneur.com by Aaron Davis. So feel free to go and check it out. And that's it for the September 5th episode. I know it's kind of truncated, but yeah, it is what it is. Get you out of here 20 minutes earlier at least. So with that in mind, I'm going to reboot. Doink. And we are back. You can actually go back to any day. I'm going to go back to the 5th on the front page of ohmTown. And who knows what's on here, but you can actually swipe things this way, swipe things to save it if you are logged in as a citizen of ohmTown.com. Come and check it all out. Yay. All right, but that's it. I'll see you probably in a few hours as I reset and prepare for the non-time machine episode of Non Sequitur News for September 6th, 2024. So see you in a little bit. Bye-bye.